Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is October 17th, 2023, and it's reported that Jadon Sancho has been offered to Barcelona. Also, more reports are stating that Atletico Madrid will insist that Barcelona pay them 80 million euros for Joao Felix. And finally, I do have an injury update for you in regards to all of Barcelona's players. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and as I mentioned in the previous video, this is the second video of today because there's a lot of news to share with you since I didn't make any videos yesterday or the day before since I was outside of the country, but now I'm officially back in my home, in my YouTube studio, ready to bring you your daily updates in regards to Barcelona. And of course, tomorrow will be your regularly scheduled live stream at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, having said all of that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit the Bet Us, where they're having a current special for all new signups. And if you are looking to buy any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the kickback. Both links are down below in the description. Now let's dive right in the news because we have to talk about the Spotify Camp Nou, which, as you already know, it's currently undergoing major renovations under the Espai Barça project, which aims to completely modernize the stadium and bring it into the 21st century. And for now, of course, the team will continue playing in the Olympic Stadium until the Spotify Camp Nou is ready to start hosting matches in November of 2024. So November of next year is when the team will start playing at Spotify Camp Nou. But of course, the total renovations will not end until 2026. Now, the news is that the demolition phase is officially over. The stadium has been undergoing major demolition since June. So 4 months of demolition, and now the demolition phase is officially over and construction crews will officially begin the renovation and the construction of our new home, which again will start hosting matches next year, and it should be done in the summer of 2026. Now, if you do visit the Spotify Camp Nou, you'll see it the way you see it right now in the picture, where it looks just like when it was inaugurated back 70 years ago or 60 years ago, with the entire third rim completely gone, just the first two rims. And that's how our current home looks like. Now, let's move on to the next segment of news because La Liga have decided to reduce the suspension of Nacho, who had received a 3-match suspension after this horrendous foul that he committed, where he went in with both legs, studs showing, completely took the player out and injured him. He was initially given a 3-match ban, but now it's been reduced to a 2-match ban, which means that Nacho will play in El Clásico against Barcelona. Now, I'm not surprised whatsoever by this decision. You know, at this point, I expect anything from La Liga. As you might recall, Lewandowski was suspended for 3 matches for doing this, for touching his nose, but Nacho goes all in, almost breaks another player's leg. But hey, 2 matches, who cares? Injuring players is not as serious as touching your nose. Now, speaking of El Clásico, I do have updates for you in regards to all of our injured players, starting with Frankie de Jong, who has been wearing an orthopedic boot ever since he got injured. And it's been confirmed that he has officially taken the orthopedic boot off. So he's doing well in his recovery. However, the bad news is that Frankie de Jong has been ruled out for El Clásico match, which of course will be a big loss for Barcelona in the midfield. Now, the second update is in regards to Jules Koundé, who suffered that knee injury when Gabi fell on him. And unfortunately, he too will miss the match in the Clásico match against Real Madrid. Another player who's expected to miss a Clásico will be Rafinha, who was initially expected to be out 3 to 4 weeks, but it looks like his recovery is taking a bit longer than initially anticipated. There's also the fear of re-injury. So Barcelona are being very careful and cautious with the Brazilian. And for now, he is being ruled out of El Clasico match as well. Now, Pedri, not 100% sure. He will undergo medical exams to see whether he's fit or not for Athletic Club de Bilbao. But for now, they're telling us that he could play in a Clasico match, but is not going to be as a starter. Most likely, he could be coming in the second half as a substitute. Not the greatest of news. Of course, we wanted him to be completely back for a Clasico match, but at least we know that he could play some minutes against Real Madrid. Lewandowski, this is more of a good news about Lewandowski. He was initially ruled out of a Clasico match, but now they're saying he's not feeling discomfort in his ankle, and the Barcelona medical staff are feeling optimistic. They haven't confirmed it, but there is talks that Lewandowski could be back for a Clasico match against Real Madrid. And of course, I do want to end this segment with really good news because both Alejandro Balde and Lamine are not only expected to come back for a Clasico, but they could be expected to come back even earlier. Of course, Lamine Yamal had some discomfort in his abdominal region and he was ruled out for 10 days, which at the time seemed like he'd be back by the end of the international break. And of course, Alejandro Balde, who got injured while on duty with Spain, he was ruled out for 10 days. So we could see him back before a Clasico match, and him and Lamine will be ready for that match against Real Madrid, which is set to be played on October 28th. Now, on to the news that you've probably been waiting for, which is Jadon Sancho, because it's reported that the player has been offered to Barcelona. Now, the 23-year-old left winger is currently not having the best of time at Manchester United. Of course, he was doing absolutely amazing with Dortmund, which led to the Premier League club to sign him. But ever since his arrival, he hasn't really lived up to the hype or lived up to the expectations that the team had of him. And even less likely now with the new coach, Ten Hag. And it's reported that Manchester United are looking to offload the player because he is, again, not performing well. And it's mostly due to his behavior and to his kind of character. Now, it's reported that Manchester United are looking to even loan the player with an option to buy. They really don't care whether it's a straight up sale or a loan with an option to buy or with a loan with an obligation to buy. They really want to get rid of him. And it's reported that he has been offered to Barcelona. Now, Barcelona right now are not interested in signing Jadon Sancho. I know a lot of you have said in the comments that you would love to have Jadon Sancho on the team. But unfortunately, even though Xavi Hernandez does like the profile of the player, even though the club does like the profile of the player, they're not interested because, again, he does have a lot of attitude problems, and the club don't want to deal with that. Now, it is reported that Juventus are currently sitting in pole position to sign him, so we could see him playing in the Serie A next season. Now, speaking of left wingers, there have been more and more reports being leaked into the press by Atletico Madrid that they will insist on 80 million euros for Joao Felix. This is a news that broke to you several days ago that I said that Atletico Madrid were leaking into the media that they wanted 80 million euros for the Portuguese midfielder. And of course, I told you that Barcelona were not planning to pay that much, that they do have a plan in place with Joao Felix's agent, Jorge Mendes, to sign him for less. And while despite the insistence of Atletico Madrid of leaking the same report that they will not accept anything below 80 million euros, Barcelona's stance has not changed. So in other words, Barcelona are not planning to pay 80 million euros for Joao Felix. They do want to sign him. They do have a plan in place, but it's not going to be 80 million euros. And it's reported that Barcelona have different avenues that they're currently exploring that they could take. One of them would be to extend the loan of Joao Felix for one more season, where they will continue covering his entire salary, maybe extending it for 2 more seasons and pay kind of like a loan fee, which is what Atletico Madrid initially wanted, but Barcelona ended up not paying kind of fee, or maybe even some kind of exchange where Barcelona would pay Atletico Madrid some kind of money and send a player their way. But one thing is for sure is that Barcelona are not going to pay 80 million euros for Joao Felix, no matter how much Atletico Madrid continue insisting through these leaked reports, because you might think that the entire ball is in their court, but that's not the case, because if Atletico Madrid insists on the 80 million euros and Barcelona say no, and now the Madrid-based club are stuck with a player who they don't want and where the player does not want to be there. So no, the power does not completely rest in their hands. Barcelona does have leverage because, again, Joao Felix has said that he only wants to play in Barcelona. So that gives Barcelona plenty of negotiation powers. Now, speaking of loans, let's talk about Clément Lenglet, who's currently on loan with Aston Villa. And so far, the French defender has not been able to manage to get playing time. He's not playing much. He's not impressing at Aston Villa. And that's, of course, a problem for Barcelona, because he does have a contract with Barcelona until the summer of 2026. And if he does not end up impressing at Aston Villa, then most likely they will end up returning him next summer, which then would put Barcelona in the same place as they were last summer, where Barcelona is scrambling to find a new club for Clément Lenglet, because Barcelona do not count on the French defender. But again, he does have a contract until 2026. And the problem is he's not a bad defender, but his salary is incredibly high for what he can offer you as a player. That's thanks to Bartomeu, of course, which makes getting rid of Lenglet incredibly difficult. So unless he starts to absolutely do amazing this rest of the season, it looks like that Aston Villa could return Lenglet next summer, which again would be a problem for Barcelona. Now, speaking of defenders, we will end today's video with the news that Rafa Marquez, which is the Barca Athletic coach, has said in an interview that Mikel Fay is ready for the first team. Now, I mentioned this because I reported in a previous video that Xavi Hernandez was considering calling Mikel Fay or Pau Cubarsí, or even both, to the first team, since Barcelona have a lot of injuries on their team, including Jules Koundé, and of course, Mikel Fay was amongst those players that Xavi is considering calling up to the first team. And while Rafa Marquez said in a recent interview that Mikel Fay is ready to play in the first team, and of course, he is very in awe of this player, who, as other coaches in the academy have said, is doing incredibly amazing. Anyways, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I'd love to hear from you, so please drop a comment letting me know all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And again, I will see you tomorrow in a regularly scheduled live stream at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you for watching. And as always, peace.